Today, we embark on a journey into the heart of familial ties, exploring a story that delves into the intricacies of love, favoritism, and the painful edges of betrayal. This is the story of Liam, a 30-year-old software engineer, and his sister Chloe, an artistic 24-year-old, who has reopened the wounds of parental favoritism and revealed a fracture in their family dynamics. Liam is a methodical and dedicated individual who prides himself on being pragmatic and independent. Having worked tirelessly to secure scholarships, he put himself through university, his determination unwavering even in the face of financial obstacles. His achievements, however, have often been overshadowed by perceptions that his parents, Michael and Susan, hold of him. Despite his accomplishments, he carries the weight of being viewed as inherently capable, an individual whose needs do not require the same level of attention or nurturing as those of his younger sister. Chloe, on the other hand, embodies a free-spirited creativity that breathes life into the family. As the favored child, she has always received gifts that feed her artistic endeavors, new art supplies, fashionable clothes, and opportunities to attend concerts without the burden of financial contribution. This environment cultivated a carefree dreamer, a stark contrast to Liam's meticulous approach to life. The disparity between their experiences created an invisible chasm of resentment that would quietly build over the years. Parental favoritism, though a common theme in many families, can have profound implications. Michael and Susan demonstrated an open bias toward Chloe, a preference that became more apparent as the children matured. While they celebrated Chloe's talents and showered her with love and financial support, Liam's accomplishments were often met with lukewarm acknowledgement. In their eyes, he was the responsible son, fully capable of taking care of himself. His achievements were simply expected, whereas Chloe's felt extraordinary and worthy of celebration. This division was illustrated clearly one fateful day, when at the age of 16, Liam diligently saved for months to buy a professional-grade camera, an investment meant to enhance his budding passion for photography. To his dismay, his parents chose that moment to deliver a gift to Chloe, a brand-new high-end tablet. They expected Liam to share his camera with her, bundled within the notion of family support. In hushed silence, Liam accepted the situation, stifling the disappointment that churned within him. That incident would mark the beginning of a long-standing pattern, a silent acceptance of inequality that would come to gnaw at the edges of their sibling relationship. As time flowed onward, the inequality began to deepen. Chloe enjoyed the freedom that came with being the favored child. The absence of chores or the pressure to work part-time jobs granted her an unburdened youth, while Liam shouldered greater responsibilities, both emotional and financial. This imbalance became the fabric of their family dynamics, a thread that Liam would only recognize as it began to unravel. Entering his adult life, Liam hoped to maintain his independence, but the threads of his familial relationships continued to fray. With each milestone in his career, he yearned for validation from his parents, often left feeling bereft of acknowledgement. All the while, Chloe received adoration and support, leaving Liam trapped in a cycle of self-reliance, bolstered by a sense of internalized neglect. In the shadows of these family dynamics, a shift approached. Chloe's graduation marked a new chapter, a moment that would bring forth the very embodiment of parental favoritism to the surface. As Liam prepared to celebrate his sister's achievement with a thoughtful gift, he had no idea that his family's preferences would soon spiral into a morally compromising event, pushing him to confront the very heart of their familial bond. Join us as we dive deeper into Chapter 2, exploring the pivotal moments that would irrevocably change their lives and challenge the boundaries of love, trust, and family loyalty. Liam will find himself at a crossroads, forced to reconcile the past and face the painful reality of a family that has long lived under the guise of unity. As time moved forward, the distinct currents of parental favoritism began to dictate the life paths of both Liam and Chloe, each day revealing the unwavering divide born from a deeply ingrained family dynamic. The threads of favoritism were becoming more pronounced, leaving an unshakable weight in the air, whom the family could no longer ignore. Throughout Chloe's childhood, she thrived under the glow of accolades, her artistry nurtured and cultivated without regard for the effort it took for Liam to achieve his own successes. Liam, an astute and diligent student, often found himself navigating the world with a sense of hyper-awareness, picking up on the subtle yet stinging differences in treatment he received compared to his younger sister. A gifted child in his own right, Liam learned early on that his achievements were celebrated only in passing, like an unseasoned appetizer before the main course. His parents' affection and attention always seemed reserved for Chloe, the dreamer of the family. As the years passed, Chloe's need for material goods and extravagant experiences matched the unwavering love found in her parents' simplified view of a perfect world, a world that allowed her to experience life's beauty without the burdens of responsibility. Art supplies flowed in like a river, and wonder became her canvas. Chloe's world revolved around her choices, what to paint, which concert to attend, and how best to express her dramatic flair. Meanwhile, Liam busied himself with muted expectations. Any semblance of celebration around his milestones felt feverishly shadowed. A vivid example of this imbalance unfolded when Liam, at just 16 years of age, dedicated countless hours to save for a professional-grade camera, an investment that reflected his passion for photography. The anticipation bubbled up within him for weeks, imagining the photographic possibilities that would soon dance before him. But as he unwrapped his carefully saved gift under a blanket of familial cheer, he learned that his parents opted instead to buy Chloe a high-end tablet. It was a grand choice, one viewed through the lens of familial splendor, with the expectation that Liam would simply share his camera, because after all, family helps one another. It was a moment that echoed in the chambers of disappointment. While Chloe's creativity was painted in bold strokes, Liam's aspirations were easily diluted, brushed aside in favor of the more colorful narrative unfolding around his sister. Slowly but surely, Chloe's unchecked freedom began to reshape her into a person who could navigate the world with the privilege instilled by their parents' favoritism. She swirled through her youthful days, free from the weight of chores or responsibilities, a carefree childhood fueled solely by artistic whims, while Liam quietly bore the heavier burdens of life, shouldering both emotional and financial responsibilities that seemed never-ending. The contrast between their lives grew stark, flowing through family gatherings and familial milestones, each celebration a reminder of their differing realities. As adulthood approached, the rift within the family deepened. Liam's hopes for recognition felt monumentally weighty. His parents continued to enable Chloe, applauding her whims, encouraging her work without as much as glancing back to praise his own rigorous climb toward personal independence. Their perceptions of success differed dramatically. For them, Liam's achievements came to embody mere expectations, the kind of milestones one should attain without fanfare, while Chloe's pursuits inspired rapturous applause, treated with reverence despite the incongruence of work and privilege. On the cusp of her graduation, Chloe's accomplishments echoed loudly in the air, wrapping their family like a colorful tapestry purchased from a street market. Her fine arts degree was not only a testament to her talent but also unveiled the shared dreams their parents lavished upon her. Liam, navigating this complex family dynamic, considered celebrating her triumph in his own distinct way. He prepared a heartfelt gift, a high-quality easel and painting set, a token of encouragement to keep her creative spirit alive. Unbeknownst to him, this simple act of brotherly love would invite a whirlwind of chaos into their family narrative. What he could not foresee were the intricate layers of financial and moral disarray lurking just beneath the surface, ready to unravel the existing threads that held their familial fabric together. As the joyous post-graduation air loomed with anticipation, their parents dreamt up an elaborate plan to send Chloe on a $95,000 backpacking tour through Southeast Asia, an extravagant gesture that would come to redefine their family structure and ultimately shake the foundation of trust between them all. Liam's fingers brushed against the keys of his laptop, thoughts lingering on how a day marked by celebration could swiftly transition into a maelstrom of conflict. As the world chorused in joyful noise around them, the storm of his family's decisions was just beginning to brew, ensuring that nothing would remain untouched. Little did Liam know the journey he was about to embark on would take him to the very edge of family ties, forcing a reckoning he had long attempted to balance within the weight of his heart. The unconditional love he believed he held for his sister and parents would soon be challenged in a battle where commitment, expectation, and ethics intersected, unraveling the threads of support and loyalty just as surely as the fabric of their lives had been woven together. Join us as we delve further into this gripping narrative, examining how these latest decisions will catalyze a critical turning point for Liam, one that will force him to confront not only his family dynamics, but also the courage to stand firm in his truth amid an imminent family crisis. The bonds of family are rarely easy, but when challenged, they can propel extraordinary growth, leading to the realization of what loyalty and love truly mean. As the celebratory post-graduation atmosphere settled around the family, Liam found himself both pleased and anxious. The vibrant colors of Chloe's bright aspirations bathed the gathering in warmth, yet shadows of apprehension lurked just beneath the surface, a growing sense of unease that something disruptive was brewing in the depths of their family dynamics. He could sense that the gathering was more than a simple celebration. It was a precursor to events that would irrevocably alter their family narrative. Chloe, radiant with excitement, gushed about her plans for the Southeast Asia backpacking trip their parents had proposed. The gems of adventure danced on her lips, each word dripping with the intoxicating allure of wanderlust. While she shared her dreams of visiting remote villages, tasting exotic cuisines and sketching breathtaking landscapes, Liam's heart tightened. The stark disparity between their paths felt overwhelming. While Chloe prepared for art-filled escapades, he grappled with the specter of financial concerns and an impending storm that only he seemed to notice. However, it was not until Liam received an unanticipated notification, a few days after the initial jubilations, that the calm facade of family life began to crack. Sitting in his modest apartment, Liam opened his online banking app to review monthly transactions. What he thought would be a mundane check quickly morphed into a jarring revelation. There, staring back at him, was a towering pending charge of $95,000 related to his premium travel credit card. It was an amount that sent a shockwave through his core, feeling as weighty as an anchor dropped into a peaceful sea. Tension coursing through his veins, Liam dialed his mother, Susan, heart racing with disbelief as he sought clarity. There was no possible way this charge could be accurate. Moments later, Susan's voice purred through the receiver, though it lacked the warmth one would hope for under such circumstances. Instead, it carried an unmistakable undercurrent of guilt as she doorlessly confessed her actions, admitting that she and Michael had used his credit card for Chloe's extravagant trip, all under the guise of needing the airline points to simplify traveling. The request for Liam's understanding rang hollow as her words floated through the air, words that felt like an affront to his conscientious budgeting and financial responsibility. Sitting in utter disbelief, Liam attempted to maintain his composure, but a growing reservoir of disappointment bubbled within him. He commanded himself not to react rashly. After all, family meant supporting one another, yet supporting someone at the cost of undermining another's hard-earned security felt barbaric. Maintaining his calm exterior, he pointedly explained the serious legal and financial implications of such an unauthorized charge. Susan, however, countered with defensiveness, declaring Liam had always been uptight, accusing him of lacking the familial spirit that they were supposed to exemplify. Her tone pierced Liam's heart, making him question whether he had the strength to defend his own boundaries, or whether he would once again be dismissed as a brother unworthy of parental regard. Michael soon joined the discussion, echoing Susan's sentiments, dismissing the weight of the situation and urging Liam to be flexible. The repetition of family pleasantries felt trivializing. For the first time, Liam was painfully aware of being entirely alone in this struggle. The weight of being the responsible adult was heavier, and it pressed down upon his chest like a leaden stone. As Chloe messaged him, blissfully unaware of the predicament unfolding behind her, thanking him for his endless support with innocent enthusiasm, Liam could barely muster a response. This growing turmoil triggered memories of untold moments from childhood. A long history of favoritism and dismissive parenting patterns returned to haunt him, crystallizing a pivotal moment from his past where he had kept quiet about his own feelings in the face of parental favoritism, something he now recognized as an emotional burden. As he set down his phone, a resolute thought formed in his mind, a decision that was about to shift the trajectory of his life and family relationships. His responsibility to maintain harmony was outweighed by the need to secure his own financial future and integrity. Liam felt the sting of betrayal digging deeper as he resolved that this was no longer about protecting familial bonds at the expense of personal sacrifice. This was about standing firm in the wake of adversity, challenging an age-old family dynamic that had dictated his life far too long. The spiraling emotional vortex pulled him into a whirlwind of introspection. Thoughts about loyalty and the duality of love echoed loudly. As he prepared to take action, readying his mind for a confrontation that could fracture their family's delicate web, Liam felt composed yet intimidated by the stakes. He had held so much buried, ready to erupt like a shaken bottle of soda. The impending confrontation with his parents felt inevitable, and with it the unraveling of truths that tethered their relationships together. Each decision he made would be a testament, a line drawn in the sand between his past and a future cloaked in self-respect and boundaries. Join us as we navigate the critical clash that is sure to follow, one that will test the very foundation of familial loyalty and love, amid betrayal, revealing the brave path Liam must take to reclaim his independence, dignity, and emotional safety within this pivotal moment of his life. There comes a moment in every family dynamic when the facade begins to crumble, revealing the fractures hidden beneath a veneer of togetherness. For Liam, that moment arrived like an unexpected storm on a clear day. Having meticulously navigated his emotions over the charge that had been unjustly placed on his premium travel credit card, he understood that there was no avoiding the inevitable confrontation. With his heart pounding and his mind racing, he braced himself for what would become an unprecedented clash, a heartfelt and necessary challenge to the dynamics that had long defined his relationship with his parents. After the shocking realization of the unauthorized charge, Liam felt an electric current of resentment surging through him. The disappointment of his childhood echoed in the stark silence of his thoughts. He picked up his phone, the smooth surface feeling foreign in his hand, as he prepared to call his mother Susan. Dialing her number felt like standing at the edge of an abyss, peering into the depths of a truth he feared might engulf him. When Susan answered, her voice was tinged with the sweetness that had always masked accountability. "Liam, I was just thinking about you," she chirped, her tone cheerful, as if the conversation would revolve around mundane family updates. But Liam heard the undertones of disbelief that emerged as he quietly listed the gravity of what had transpired, holding each word like delicate glass. "Mom, you and Dad used my credit card without my consent for Chloe's trip. It is a serious breach of trust," he said, his voice steady but strained. The mood shifted instantly, tension tightening the air as Susan's demeanor darkened. "Liam," she began defensively, "we just needed to utilize your card for the airline points. It is what families do for each other." The words fell from her lips like a soothing balm meant to diffuse an escalating conflict. Yet to Liam, it felt more like a stone wall, impenetrable and cold. "What you did is illegal, Mom," he replied, his hands trembling slightly as he channeled his emotion into firm resolve. "There are legal and financial repercussions for this. You cannot simply brush it off because you feel entitled to do whatever you please." The very notion that his voice could carry such weight against the familiar contours of family love felt surreal, yet he understood that this needed to be addressed. Susan quickly became defensive, her tone shifting from comfort to accusation. "You always make everything more complicated than it needs to be. You could lighten up a little. Family helps each other out when it matters most." The dismissiveness revealed itself in her sharp tone, igniting the wounding memories of Liam's childhood, when his own accomplishments were dwarfed by Chloe's artistic whims. In that moment, anger surged from Liam's core, but he fought to maintain composure. "I am not saying family should not support one another, but it should not come at the cost of someone else's security. I never signed up to be anyone's safety net." His measured approach was a thin veil over the turmoil boiling beneath, a turmoil cultivated from years of feeling overshadowed by an endless stream of parental validation directed towards Chloe. Michael, who had been listening from the sidelines, finally chimed in. "Now, Liam, you know this is just a temporary situation. We will pay you back." The words came out like a soothing mantra, but they carried little weight against the thundering reality of what had just occurred. "You are being too rigid about this. Flexibility is key. Life will throw curveballs, and it is our responsibility to take care of each other within the family." It was an impossible argument to counter. Then a notification pinged on Liam's phone. Chloe's message lit up the screen, brimming with excitement. "Hey, Liam, Mom and Dad just told me about the trip. I cannot thank you enough for being so generous. I am so excited." Her enthusiasm, both vibrant and oblivious, pierced through the turmoil. For a moment, guilt clouded his thoughts, making him question if he was indeed the villain in this narrative of familial loyalty. He knew Chloe was unaware of the financial chaos brewing in the background, yet the intensity of her words served only to amplify his internal struggle. With every tick of the clock, Liam felt suffocated by the insistent need for validation that seemed never-ending. He had long grappled with the understanding that recognition was often reserved for Chloe, as the dreamer of the family, whose whims and desires shaped decisions, while his own accomplishments faded into the background like faded photographs in a dusty album. In the heat of the moment, Liam realized that the confrontation was not merely about the $95,000 charge. It was about the emotional landscape that had shaped his life for far too long. The dismissal of his feelings, the trivialization of his hard-earned successes, they all cascaded into this singular moment of contention. To feel seen and validated suddenly became a wave crashing against the banks of his long-standing guilt and disappointment. "Being family does not equate to sacrificing my peace," he replied, breaking through the layers of uncertainty coiling around his thoughts. "What happens when continuing to enable this behavior costs me everything I have worked for? How is that true family?" His voice hung in the air, resonating with an intensity that surprised even him. Within that charged space, Liam knew he was fighting for more than just his financial security. He was battling against an entrenched hierarchy that had long left him feeling undervalued, ignored, and bitterly alienated. And as he braced for the fallout of his demands, he felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps it was time to redefine the terms of a familial bond, to shed the layers of expectation that had always kept him pinned beneath Chloe's shadow. The confrontation was merely the beginning, a fracturing of their family's delicate foundation. How would they navigate the aftermath? What would the costs ultimately be? The singular thread of loyalty they had woven together seemed now to unravel, exposing the raw reality that lay beneath years of complex emotions. What followed would shape not just their financial future, but the very essence of their family unit itself. The question looming on the horizon was whether they could all emerge from this storm intact, or if it would all come tumbling down, leaving only the stark truth of what it meant to truly be family. The aftermath of the confrontation unfolded like an ominous storm cloud that lingered over their family. For Liam, the weight of having to engage in a battle with his parents was a heavy burden, one that he wished had never manifested. With his heart racing and his mind overwhelmed, he settled into his favorite armchair, the old leather creaking beneath him, hoping for some clarity. The weight of familial ties clashed with the stark reality of financial betrayal. He had made the right decision, yet the emotional fallout was spiraling quickly beyond his control. Days passed with Liam diligently keeping tabs on his credit card account. As relentless as the emotional conflict churned within him, he updated his credit freeze and implemented additional fraud alerts to protect himself. He felt like an operator in an intricate game, navigating his strategy spin after spin, hoping for a favorable outcome. Any comfort he once held began to dissolve as the looming dread of his parents' reactions grew more palpable with each tick of the clock. When the call from the credit card company finally came, it felt like a double-edged sword. They had completed their investigation into the unauthorized $95,000 charges on his account. With a firm and sympathetic tone, the representative informed him that the charges would be reversed, citing the police report he had filed. Relief washed over Liam, but it was tempered with an undeniable sense of grief over the family ties that had begun to tear at the seams. As the news settled in, he found himself staring blankly at his computer screen, still haunted by thoughts of his family's hostile reaction. Just as he had expected, the deluge of heated messages from his parents poured in, inundating his phone with a relentless stream of accusatory texts and bitter voicemails. Michael and Susan unleashed their fury, not just about the loss of the luxurious Southeast Asia trip, but targeted Liam directly. He was selfish, ungrateful, and a heartless family member for daring to challenge their choices. Then there was Chloe. Oblivious to the consequences of her parents' actions, she took to TikTok, posting a tearful video about her dreams being crushed by Liam. The theatrics reached a different level, leaving Liam reeling from the betrayal that now spanned beyond the credit card itself. It stung deeply to see Chloe, who had always been so sheltered and treated as special, turn against him without even grasping the full scope of his pain. The sister he had loved so fiercely was now a pawn in a game of familial manipulation. In a moment fueled by both hurt and anger, Liam crafted a post on his LinkedIn profile, addressing the importance of financial security and fraud awareness. He refrained from naming specific individuals, but surely referenced the painful reality he was now grappling with. He felt an exhilarating rush as the words flowed, merging his grief with an unquenchable desire to take a stand and reclaim control over his narrative. Reactions began to pour in, some sympathetic, while others accused him of airing family laundry publicly. Still, the act of sharing gave him a glimmer of power in an otherwise tumultuous situation. Just when it seemed the storm would never pass, an unexpected lifeline appeared. His Aunt Carol, Susan's older sister, reached out to offer discreet support. In their phone conversations, she revealed a history of financial irresponsibility that she had witnessed within the family, uncovering a dark lineage of entitlement and poor decision-making that cast a cloud over Michael and Susan's choices. For the first time, Liam felt validated. This was not merely a singular incident, but part of a larger dysfunctional pattern. The revelations provided Liam with fresh resolve, armed with the understanding that his family's issues ran deeper than just a financial transaction. He reaffirmed his decision, now more firmly rooted than ever. He regarded Chloe's messages with indifference. A protective barrier had surged within him to shield his heart from further pain. As the days stretched on, Liam realized that his path forward involved withdrawing from the toxic dynamics that had constrained him for far too long. He outlined a plan to sever ties temporarily, prioritizing his own well-being above the quagmire of the family drama. It struck him that real strength could lie not in trying to mend the fractures, but in choosing to protect his own mental health and personal journey. In this unsettling landscape of family betrayal, it became clear to Liam that he was on the precipice of necessary change. This was about regeneration, about transforming the pain of exploitation into clarity and empowerment. Even amidst the isolation he now faced, he discovered an opportunity to forge a new narrative, one anchored in self-respect, resolute boundaries, and the assurance that his value was not predicated on being the reliable son. His ambitions grew beyond the confines of his childhood home. No longer willing to be a pawn in someone else's narrative, Liam committed himself to personal and professional growth. Each step forward represented another thread in the tapestry of independence he was meticulously weaving. Through it all, he maintained an unwavering belief that he would emerge stronger, wiser, and ultimately unshackled from the pain that once bound him. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Liam's story and the unraveling thread. If you found value in this narrative, whether it resonated with your own experiences or deepened your understanding of family dynamics and the importance of setting boundaries, please give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps the channel grow and reach others who may need to hear this story. Do you have a similar experience in your own life? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let us foster a community of understanding and support as we navigate these complex emotions together. For more engaging stories and discussions on the dynamics of family, self-advocacy, and personal growth, do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You will be notified every time I release a new video. Until next time, take care and remember, your journey is your own. Define it on your terms.